Good evening, everyone. Everyone asks you not to keep your phone active right now, keep it inside, focus, all of that jazz. I'm going to tell you the opposite. Can everyone remove their phone? Just show me your phones. Yeah, that's right. Perfect. Cool. What I want you to do is I want you to scan this. Yeah, scan this. Go on. Now, if you're too behind now, the scanner might not work, okay? And the question is very simple. I want to start with very, very core brass tacks tactical question to you. What was the number one problem at work that you faced this week? Maybe it's, yeah, my campaign's not working well. My customer churned away. VCs are saying you're too early for me. You heard that, right? Maybe you're not being able to hire top talent. Doesn't matter. Whatever was your professional problem last week, I want to just type it out. Go on, I'm going to give you a minute or so. And if you have doubts, come ask me. I'm going to come right here. Correct. Can we move to the Slido answer? Let's start seeing what kind of answers are we getting. Landed page or not working. Conversion rate optimization. Acquisition. Nothing. Find a person. No problem at work. Great. Reaching out to customers. Lead generation. Engagement. Time crunch. Too little was done in a day. I understand. Understanding how AI is changing. Okay. CAC. Leads. Debugging the same thing again. I feel you. Oh my God, someone loves a girl at work. Can't help you there, my one. Hiring talent. Okay, so I have a question from all of you, right? Did you notice something? Let's go back to the screen, please. Let's go back to the slides, yeah. Did you guys notice something, by the way? What did you guys... Did anyone notice anything from the answers? Raise a hand, it's okay. Did anyone... Options, it's a free text field, ma'am. You could have written whatever you wanted. Did anyone notice anything? Everyone has problems. Mr. Obvious, please everyone, please give him a big round of applause. Obviously, everyone has problems, man. One thing, we are at an AI event, right? How many of the answers were around AI? A little ironic, right? I think I saw one, right? And I think that's the number one thing is because that's problem number one is most problems are not about AI. But what's happening right now with AI is just like how all D2C companies are putting protein in everything that they can get. We are putting AI in everything that we can get, right? That's the core problem. And the other thing I want to check with you all is I want everyone to raise their hands. Just everyone raise their hands. And as I ask these questions to you, if it doesn't qualify for you, keep your hands down. अरे यार इतना भी खाना नहीं खाया क्या लोगों ने? Raise your hands यार जोर से. What is this? What is this? Okay, keep your hands raised if you've used ChatGPT. Okay, see, very good. Keep your hands raised if you've used or built a prototype with AI. If you haven't, keep your hand down. It's okay. Interesting. Keep your hands raised if you have built a product using AI, like front end, back end, automations, workflows, everything. Now keep your hands raised if you've generated more than 1 crore rupees with that feature. That's the problem with AI. Why the hell would professionals use AI if it doesn't help them get revenue, business impact? It doesn't matter. See, none of you are like, most of you are not in college, right? You can't just build a project and expect something good to happen at work. You have to, at the end, solve that CAC problem, solve that campaign problem. Otherwise, AI is just a tool, right? So the two core things on what I have learned is there are 4 levels in AI right now. The first level, which is basically your mom, dad, grandmother, everyone, is people who use ChatGPT, okay? Then inside that spectrum, there is a level 2. Level 2 are people who are using maybe a prototyping tool, a vibe coding platform, maybe they're building workflows. Some people are even building custom stuff out with AI, and they're building full AI products. And the 1% of folks who are actually cracking it, the people who are speaking at this event, by the way, who are raising money, who are generating revenue, are people who can build and generate revenue in AI, which is what I call becoming an AI first leader. If you're not chasing this, then don't touch AI. Just keep doing what you're doing in your own skill set and it'll still get you a lot more career outcome, right? Otherwise, it's just random college projects. Now, how do you become an AI first leader? Of course, yes. I have 30 minutes. I'll try to do what we can. Okay. Now, in my opinion, becoming an AI first leader is a function of just two things. Okay. First is understanding how and what impacts your core business. Second is once I understand what is that specific lever, how can I use AI to kind of improve that problem or make that problem better for me, right? And what we're going to do today is we're going to get a good taste of what it means to solve for these two. Let's start with the core business levers, okay? Everyone here with me till now? Yeah? Can I please get here? Are you okay? Perfect. Thank you. All right. Now, understanding core business levers, just thoda sa math aayega. Just hold on, okay? Just bear with me. All right. This is the most simple equation for any business that is sitting here. I don't care if you're D2C, B2C, G2G, whatever. Revenue, your total revenue comes from paying customers multiplied by the average order value. Okay. Doesn't matter what business you are. Now, if you want to break it down, you can be like, what does total paying customers mean? Total paying customers is a function of all the new customers you have, all the existing customers you have, and all the resurrected or the retained users that you have, right? You combine, if you want to improve total paying customers, if you increase new, will your total paying customers increase? Yes. If you increase resurrected, total paying customers increase. If you increase retained, total paying customers increase. Let's go one level deeper. If I want to impact new, I have some channels maybe. Maybe I have organic, referral, paid. Again, if I increase my organic, that impacts new impacts total paying customers. Understanding input levers, right? Now, let's go a little deeper, right? For example, for retained, the example over here is basically how many users you have and what's their retention rate. Let's say for resurrected, what is the churned base and how many people can you keep getting those back? I can keep going deeper and deeper, but let's take an actual example, right? Let's take Zepto's example. Let's say if Zepto is doing 1,00,000 orders today, I'm simplifying this. If Zepto is doing 1,00,000 orders today, total users multiplied by the average monthly orders is what Zepto is chasing, for example, right? Now, if you look at total users, does anyone remember this? New, retained, resurrected. Inside that, channels. Keep nodding your head if you're understanding, okay? So I can see. Then inside referral, for example, if you're owning referral as a lever, you can only own these parameters, which is how many people get an aha moment when they use your product. Out of those, how many people actually discover that you have a referral program? Of the people that discover that you have a referral program, how many share it with their friend, how many open it, and percentage of users signing up and actually then placing the order. If I impact just the discovery of the referral program, that increasing the referral users, that increases new users, that increases total users. You can keep breaking down your business levers until you get something actionable, right? These are input levers. The biggest problem when I talk to the 4,500 members also is they will slap AI everywhere except here and expect like a business outcome, right? If you're using AI, any random place except for this, it doesn't matter. And this is just total users. You can take the same thing for retained. For example, for average sessions, you can take it for session to order. You can take it for everything. I'm also going to break down, by the way, GrowthX's revenue equation for y'all to just tell you all that I am not just doing Gyan here. This is exactly how we operate as a business as well. Okay. Now, GrowthX's revenue, for people who don't know, we are a membership club. That's the plug, by the way. GrowthX revenue is equal to how many paid members we have multiplied by the average subscription value. So we are a subscription product. You pay a fee per year to become a GrowthX member. If I have to increase paid members, remember this? New, existing, resurrected, same thing as the older model, by the way. New members is a function of how much traffic I get. Out of those, how many people apply, because we don't accept everyone. Out of the people who get accepted, how many actually end up paying? In our existing members, how many people are actually using our online events, offline events. What is the community usage? For example, we do 1,500 messages every single day on our community platform. How many people use our perks? We give a lot of perks out. Resurrected people is, hey, how many people are actually churning for a reason that we can solve for, and how many people are at risk, means that the retention is going down, and now anytime they can churn. Solving for those, solve for this. Now, you understood the growth levers. Just accept if you've understood a growth lever, so we can move to how to solve with AI. Yes? Perfect. Now, how do I take this lever and then figure out what to use AI for? Let me take an example. Okay. Let's take application to payment, right? Now, for us, application to payment is a function of just three things. Of the people that apply to us, how many can we process every single day? How much time does it take? Second is the quality. Our members have a median work experience of 9.5 years. They have a median salary of 32 lakhs. So we have to maintain a quality score, and we have a math behind it. And then actually telling them that, hey, boss, we liked you because of X, Y, and Z reason. Now, this is our older metrics just about a year back, which is it would take us 18 minutes per application to vet someone on average. It would take 4% error rate. Humans make mistakes. Accepting people who should not have been accepted, then we remove them from the community. Not pretty, but has to be done. And the other one is telling them that, hey, you are accepted via phone call. This is what we do today. It takes 7 seconds for us to vet a customer, to tell if they are good or bad. Our error rate is lower than humans, and best of all, no calls needed, right? I just wanted to, this is the outcome of using AI in the right place, and I'll show you exactly how we are using it right now. Now, this is how you start our application. What we fundamentally were trying to do is we were trying to build a lookalike audience. I hate lead scoring, by the way. It's the most worst thing to do. In a membership club, what I'm trying to do is whenever someone's applying to me, I look at, okay, how much relevant score do they have to the current 4,500 members that I have on the platform? The more they are closer to my user, the better it is. With AI, what we do is we look at more than 83 data points. We look at your criminal records, publicly available, of course. We look at all of your professional, social, financial, with nothing just but your name about you. Okay, obviously, folks, please know that this is about a year in building. And then I actually tell you why I accepted you in the most hyper personalized way. Things that I'm sure even your best friends will not know. All right. This entire thing takes 7 seconds, by the way. For example, now in my story, it says that, hey, why did we like you? Because at Razorpay, you were leading growth, for example. But specifically, what did you do there? Surely a lot of LinkedIn data, sure. Community work. They are also looking at previous community work that I've done even before GrowthX. Now, I don't know where they got that. Teaching in public. I've been teaching for Huffington Post, Hacker News, LinkedIn Post, all of that. And most interestingly, it also knows that I've cycled 2,700 kilometers and knows that these are the kind of people also in GrowthX, right? This all thing happens in 7 seconds, by the way. And obviously our application rate, everything is improved massively. Let me take another example, all right? Second example for you is, let's say if you are chasing engagement or attention, okay? For us, a retained user is a lot to do with how many times someone, when they come and consume a course of ours or a deep dive of ours, right? For example, every single week, we get all industry experts to come and talk or teach specifically about maybe AI, tech, from the CTO of Zerodha to folks from Level Labs, a bunch of people. And what is the main metric for us to drive for this team that works on it is how many people actually clicked on the deep dive after seeing it. That is a CTR, like YouTube. And second is, how much time do they spend? The biggest concern for us was that people are not even clicking on the recordings. It was less than 1% CTR. Now, primarily, there were a lot of reasons for it. Bandwidth of improving the thumbnail. It's not like a YouTube video. It's a consumer. It's inside our members are using the product, etc. Right? How do we do that? Now, this is the previous version of the thumbnail. For example, Here is Rajiv Srivastav from Antler. He's a partner. He had come and spoken about how do you go from an employee to an entrepreneur. And this is the thumbnail that they created. Not bad, but not going to drive a lot of CTR. As you can see, it's pixelated. They've taken a LinkedIn photo, removed the background. They've made a template out of it. Would take about 30 minutes for a human to do it. This happens automatically on the platform. This is done using Nano Banana on our platform. It goes, finds the speaker, figures out the right treatment for it, and then gets the logo, everything. Every single thing here is automated, right? And you can go to growthis.club and check out all the thumbnails. They're all generated with Nano Banana. This is time saved as well as CTR increased. Final example of looking at a business lever and then solving it. Let's talk about events created. We have an events platform where members can come and host products, host their own events, etc. Can we play the video? Oh, it's next. Sorry. All good. Now, as you can see, you can go host the event on your own. Earlier, if someone wanted to go and host an event on a platform, a member, community team would go reach out to them. After we reach out to them, they would respond to the right time. Then we would create a GATM creative, a thumbnail. Then they would go live. Then we would call up the restaurant and figure out what to do, which place to book, and then it would go live. Here, the creative copy, the timing, even the location, we have vendor partners that we directly work with. They have direct access. They don't have to work about bookings, anything. It's all automated to the point where all they need to do is go and submit it. But even after that, I can't just let people go ahead, right? It needs to be reviewed. So our AI reviews every single thing from the image, the speaker, the timing. If the place is too big, it'll recommend that you need to have a larger seating area, smaller seating area, and give you specific feedback at every single place. Just a quick stat. We are on track to do 1,000 events this year at GrowthX. My community team is a team of 2 people. Okay. So when you look at, thank you so much. When you look at a business lever and try to solve it holistically, you will be able to solve it much better. As working professionals, by the way, once you understand what problem to solve, you are curious enough to Google, GPT, whatever it is, to figure out the AI tools to actually go and solve it. The main problem is not having this, right? Now, I'm just going to summarize at a very high level about what we spoke. First is, I want you to go home today, even founders, right? Go and try to figure out what is your core business equation. What if it's revenue, user, and what is impacting it. From that, figure out which input levers you can actually own, right? You can't own every single thing in the equation. From the levers you own, try to figure if I have to improve this metric using AI, ask yourself that question, how do I do it? And just implement that. Even if you experiment, AI is so good. Even if you experiment a little bit, by the way, it will help you drive at least 2x more impact than doing it in the normal way. And I can guarantee you here. But it needs to be applied to the right business problem. All right. That's the thing. I didn't want to come here and tell you guys that AI is going to take your jobs away. There's enough fear mongering that's already going on. I fundamentally believe that AI is just another tool that didn't exist before, now it exists. If you use it to actually drive more business impact, you can command higher growth for yourselves and for your companies. All right. Now, here's the plug. We are a community to become an AI first leader, by the way. What we do fundamentally, by the way, is we believe that after a certain age, it's very hard to learn just from content. Our core job to be done is to curate the most ambitious people in one room. From all the speakers that came today, 30% of them are GrowthX members. That's the quality of members that we have, right? And what we basically do is get them in a single room and let make magic happen. We have folks from Levin Labs, Lovable, and these are members not who joined them right now. They've been there with us for a few years. And we have conversations inside the community. For example, we do 1,500 messages every single day on our community. Your comments will never get unresponded. They get responded quickly. And we also partner, because we have such good quality people, brands want to partner with us to give us the best deals. So for you, it's a big benefit where if you take the GrowthX membership, or if you are accepted for the GrowthX membership, you get perks across the spectrum, across every AI company that you can think of, and benefit from it. You can explore us at growthx.club. You'll have to just go through the application, the AI application process that I just showed you all, to actually become a member. If you are accepted, you can go ahead and pay for it. Now, as a bonus, by the way, I do want you to all, we started with our phones up. Let's get our phones up. We are launching free micro courses on AI skills. If you scan, submit your email, that will come to you first. Again, we are not in the business of selling content. For us, we are in the selling business of getting the best people together. Content is just a structure. If you have the right people around you, you will motivated to do more. That's our core thing that we've understood about professionals after a certain age, obviously. So you can scan and you will get across engineering, product, growth, marketing. We are partnering with the best people to launch free AI skills courses. And yeah, that's about it for me, folks. Thank you so much. Have a great event.
Hi, Udyan. Thanks for the great session. I was just wondering, as AI progresses and things evolve, there's this whole thing about, do you need to have breadth or depth, right? So I'm a marketing professional, and I always wonder, should I know a little bit across the spectrum, or should I go ahead and specialize in one specific thing and become an expert in that? So what are your thoughts?
I think so. The question is basically, do I become a generalist or should I be a specialist? In my opinion, a career will always span three phases. First phase of your first 3 years of your career will typically be a lot of generalist work. Then you will have to specialize to grow the ladder and actually become a head of a function. And then at that point, again, the company will ask you to be a little bit more broader and holistic as a generalist. You'll have to do these steps to grow as a CXO. So anyone who's a CXO today, do you see how they started their career? They'll do a lot of things in the same function. Even in just product work, they might do a lot of breadth of things. They'll have to specialize and stick to one to actually become an associate director, whatever, first managerial role, for example, for me, the same way. And then again, when they become a super leader, they have to again get generalist, because then they own the function and not a specialization. That's the truthful answer. Yeah.
Thank you for your talk. And with your wide experience of building this wonderful community, I wanted to know generally what is the awareness and needfulness of responsible AI?
Responsible AI, if I'm being very honest right now, is so low, fundamentally for two reasons. One is that the number of people implementing AI in their work, and except for the chat GPTs and the like and the content that we see on social media, where it's got the most amount of adoption, other places have not got that adoption. That, like for example, today we worry about Amazon wastage, etc. But if someone asked that question in 2014, they would not even think about it. In AI right now, I think we are in that space when I look at all our members also. So hope that answers the question.
EU AI Act and other acts coming into picture, don't you think the awareness grows even in India, DPIP?
It might come. Regulation itself doesn't know what AI is right now, so I don't even know if they can regulate it properly. If I'm being
India.
very honest with you. Yes.
GrowthX, put your hands together.